And now here we come to the topic of the Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths. Noble, what is meant by noble? What it means by truth? Okay, there's two meanings of noble. The first one is the truth of the noble one. Noble one means noble person who already realized, awakening, and that truth is a noble truth. That's one dimension of the meaning. The second meaning is the truth that ennoble that person to be a noble person. Let's say if you discover this truth, you become a noble person. And again, another thing is that noble is timeless. When we talk about truth in Buddhism, the truth is always the truth. It's ultimate truth. It's not conventional truth. It's true today, it will be true in the future. Let's say, human, we have to die. This is true, right? No matter who you are, what you believe. We get old, we get sick, and we die. This is the truth. That's why it's called, truth. It never changes. The truth from scientific world many times change. Sometimes people think that the world is flat, and people believe it's true. And later on, another scientific discover it's not true, and then they accept the new theory. So the truth in the scientific world always change. But truth in Buddhism, in the eyes of the Buddha, what he discovered, what he teach, will remain true forever. And that's something you need to make note here, that truth means it's always true. Okay, it is not like true only Buddhist. It's not true for Christianity. No, if that's the case, that's not the truth. It's something you make it up. And it's noble because it's purifying. Okay, it helps purify us from a man to be a good man. Okay, when you discover this truth and when you follow, your life, will in the process of purifying to be a better person. Okay, body, speech, and mind. Because in order for someone to realize Nibbana, you have to be pure. Okay, body, speech, and mind. This is the meaning of the noble. Back to this again, the Four Noble Truths. There are four of them. The truth that always true, the truth that very difficult to discover. The Buddha discovered this, and he teach. Usually, like I said, he only teach the monk, because monk back then ordained because they want to free themselves from suffering. They want to know about the true nature of life. But when the Buddha teach the lay people, most of the time he focus on something that help people to be a better person, like a donation, like a observe precept. Don't kill, don't harm, don't lie. People can easy to relate it to his teaching. But when you all of a sudden talk about Nibbana, people don't get it. My life, I don't feel suffering. Okay, I see people die, I see someone get sick, but I'm okay with that. People don't feel like it's an urgent matter that they should spend time learning. But for the eye of the Buddha and those arahants, they see suffering of dukkha. It's something that very extremely urgent. He said the world is enslaved with ignorance. Dukkha is the greatest fear. In the eye of arahant, in the eye of Buddha, dukkha is the greatest fear. But for us, we so enjoy, having fun. Okay, we don't know because of this guy, the ignorant or avijja. We so ignorant. We are born with ignorance. We don't know that we don't know. We think we know, but we don't know. We only know how to make a living. We know computer. We know, selling, buying stuff. But bigger than that, we don't know. We don't even know our own mind. We don't even know where the mind exists. The world is the greatest fear in the eyes of the Buddha, in the eyes of Arahant. So dukkha is here. It needs to be emphasized. For monk, he teach. For the lay people, this is too deep for them. The Four Noble Truths, again, four of them. The first one is called dukkha. I have to mention the Pali term because there is no one single English vocabulary that explains one word of the Pali vocabulary, like dukkha. I cannot say suffering, not enough. I cannot say sad, pain, not enough. So I prefer to stick with the word dukkha, but I'll show you the meaning in a moment. Okay, so don't feel like, oh, Luang Pi, I don't understand Pali. It's okay, just hear the term and get familiar with it. The first one is dukkha, the second one is samudaya, the third one is nirodha, and the last one, number 4, is makkha, or the eightfold path. As you can see the elephant here, see, the Buddha gave his first teaching called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and in this teaching the Buddha talked about Four Noble Truths. That means he summarized everything that he discovered into this teaching. It tells us that the Four Noble Truths is like the blueprint of all the teaching, of all the Dhamma that he discovered. So Sariputta compared the Four Noble Truths to the footprint of the elephant, because elephant is the biggest animal. His footprint is bigger than all kind of animal. Dhammacakka is the same. So all the teaching, of his teaching from now on, in his 45 years, you can track it back. It will fall into the Four Noble Truths. So keep this picture in mind. Four Noble Truths is important. If you understand Four Noble Truths, you pretty much understand most of the teaching. This is the one. He mentioned to Venerable Anuruddha. Someone asked the Buddha, can you give one sentence summary of your teaching? He said yes. And this is it. He said, Anuruddha, I make known just suffering and the end of suffering. That's all I teach. I make known just suffering, which is what? Dukkha. I make known just dukkha and the end of dukkha. Other than that, the Buddha did not emphasize. He focused his teaching in help people understand the nature of life, which is dukkha, and help people heal, or free from dukkha. Whether you the king, whether you a government officer, whether you a business owner, you a villager, whoever he meet, he teach the same thing, but different way of teaching. This is help people to understand the nature of life. Why you suffering? We get to the example in a moment. Okay, and this is the meaning of the dukkha. When you hear the word dukkha, you may come up with a lot of vocabulary. Okay, dukkha sometimes it's just sad. You don't feel happy. That's dukkha. Pain, have pain in your leg, also dukkha, because you're unhappy. Okay, you don't like something, dukkha. Okay, headache, grief. Okay, you lost someone you love, dukkha. You get hurt, heartbroken, dukkha. Okay, sorrow, feel agitated, frustrated from work, lamentation, anxiety, unease. Okay, the classic vocabulary that you hear that people translate dukkha, they use the word suffering. But like I said earlier, it's not enough. Dukkha has broader meaning than that. Some scholars use the word unsatisfactoriness. But my favorite word is oppression. Dukkha is something we feel oppression, we feel pressure, we feel unstable, we feel insecure. It's oppressed. Something like keep pressuring us. That kind of feeling is called dukkha. Okay, not just headache. There's more than that. As you can feel, they all negative feeling. Dukkha, worry, concern, whatsoever is fall into dukkha. This is the nature of life. The Buddha, if you think of the Buddha as a doctor, the Buddha is expert in suffering. He is a specialist in suffering. He knows suffering from inside out, and he knows how to heal suffering in each kind of suffering. Whoever have problem in life, suffering in life, come to him, he will give you the right medicine, and you can free from your own suffering. Okay, but physical doctor, they know the disease that happen in the body, right? You have stomach ache, headache, you have cancer, you go and they give you a treatment, you can be free from that kind of physical suffering. But in terms of mental suffering like this, the Buddha is expert. Okay, so now let's take a look what it means by dukkha from the Buddhist text first. We have to start somewhere, and I think the best place to start is from his original teaching, which is from the text. In this particular sutra, the Buddha explained what dukkha means. He said, monk, this noble truth, the first noble truth, which is suffering or dukkha. Number one, birth is suffering. Second one, aging is suffering. Having disease, illness is suffering. Okay, understand. Death is suffering. Not sure. How come death is suffering? Okay. Sorrow, we got it. Lamentation. Okay. You keep, yelling, keep, crying. Physical pain, mental pain, despair, and suffering. You feel like you have no energy to do anything. Be associated with unpleasant is suffering. Separate from pleasant is suffering. Say you separate from your parent, you are suffering. You work with someone you don't like at your workplace, you're suffering. See, you associate with some people you don't like, you're suffering. You want to have pizza, but you get steamed rice, you're suffering. You want Starbucks coffee, but you get like cheap coffee, you're suffering. You see your emotion. That kind of emotion is called dukkha. Dukkha is deep. Okay, not getting what one wants. Okay, you want something, you don't get it. Unhappy, suffering. 7 of them. The most important thing is number 8. This is something that the Buddha wants us to fully understand. What causes us suffering? In short, the 5 aggregate of clinging are suffering. You run into the new keyword here, which is the 5 aggregate. Something new to you. If we understand number 8, we understand the first noble truth. We understand dukkha, the noble truth of suffering. As you can see here, okay, there are 2 forms of suffering. From number 1 to number 3, this is called routine suffering. That means we all face this kind of suffering. We born, we get old, we get ill, we die, suffering. But from number 4 to number 7 is called temporary suffering. We don't have the same. I don't have the same suffering as you do. You, as a lay person, okay, a man, you have family, you have to make a living. You work hard, pay the bill. Your suffering and my suffering is not the same. I don't have to pay the bill. You see, this is temporary. Lay life, man love woman. Later on, they separate. They're suffering. But as a monk, we don't have that experience. We cannot have our heart broken. No one can break our heart. Okay, see, it's called temporary suffering. Okay, let's take a look at this picture. This is the one, okay, that help us to understand what suffering means. We born, we get old, and then we will die. We walk on this journey, all of us. This is called routine. Routine suffering, all of us. We are on this journey. This is suffering. But for temporary suffering or occasional suffering, like the balloon, we don't have the same number of balloon. Like this guy, okay, he just lost his job because the company went bankruptcy. Okay, so he lost job. Now he no job. He's suffering, and then he not feel good. He goes see the doctor. The doctor said, "Oh, you have cancer." Okay, and when he come home, okay, his wife said, "Okay, let's break up. Let's divorce. Now you have nothing. You broke. You have no business. You got cancer. So let's separate." He got divorced. Okay, heartbroken. It's hurt. Okay, and next day he found out his dog died. So many suffering of this guy. This is called occasional suffering. We don't have the same suffering like him. Each individual, we have different suffering. It depends on who you are. If you're a son, or you're a father, or you're a boss, or you're a student, or you're a monk, okay, each individual have different form of occasion suffering or temporary suffering, but we share the same routine suffering. We born already, okay, we getting older and older. That means we getting close to death. The longer you live, okay, the closer, okay, to death. As you know, your life move on. This is the big picture. So ask yourself how many balloons that you have. Learn how to let go. Okay, have less, better. You feel light, you feel worry free. But routine suffering, we all do. We share the same. This is the picture of the suffering from here, from this paragraph. My question to you is, how much do you understand what it means by birth is suffering? Okay, getting old, got it. Getting ill, sickness, we're not happy. What about death? Why death is suffering? Death means you're dead, not someone dead, okay? If we die and someone cry, that they're suffering, not your suffering, because you're gone. The question here is why your own death is suffering. That is why this discovery is very deep. It's a phenomenon that none of human being in the human history, humankind, no one that claim that life is suffering and we should do something about it. The Buddha is the only one who, pondering about it, cannot stay in the palace, have to leave it, have to find out what caused this kind of feeling, oppression in his mind. Okay, he noticed his father getting old, his mom dying, okay, and he noticed 6 people, okay, when he sneaked out the palace, right? So he noticed, okay, people die, people get sick, people get ill, and he noticed someone called ascetic, or I should use the word monk because no monk back then. Ascetic is someone who practice a spiritual life. They don't have family. They meditate, they do something. So he noticed 4 things as we learn the story of the Buddha. But he couldn't figure it out what caused those things, what caused old age, what caused illness, and what caused death. He couldn't figure it out until the night that his father told him that you have a son now, congratulations, now you are a father. In that moment, because he has been focusing on this issue, in that moment he found the answer that, oh, because of birth, then we get old, we get ill, and then we die. He connect all the dots. Now he see the complete picture. Because of birth, everything happened. But if no birth, nothing follow. So in the eyes of the Buddha and all the Arahant, okay, they not enjoy being born. But for us ignorant people, we happy birthday. You know, every year get together, blow the cake, you know, celebrate happy birthday. There is no happy birthday in the eyes of Arahant and the Buddha, because birth is suffering. Okay, don't get me wrong. Don't think, oh, Buddha is so pessimistic. He look at life is, you know, in the negative way. You know, we born, we can enjoy a lot of things. We can travel, we can make money, buy clothes, you know, dance, drink, having girlfriend, boyfriend. That's called happiness. Yes, but it's the happiness in the definition of ignorance. It's your own definition of happiness. But in the eyes of those who achieve enlightenment, they see this is the starting point of all the suffering because of birth. You can enjoy whatever you have, okay, the happiness that I just mentioned, but keep in mind that you are having everything, all of that on the canvas of suffering. You stand on top of suffering, because suffering is the nature of life. We born, we get old, we die. No one can escape that. So there is no celebration, okay? In Buddhist. This is the Western culture. Now it's go everywhere in the world. Everyone happy birthday. Even my nephew. Okay, I don't celebrate my birthday. Not because I see the danger of birth. No, I'm just not into it. And here, since we get to this, you know, you guys are foreigner. Okay, you come to Thailand, you become a monk, and from time to time, let's say when you're on your birthday and the lay people knows that, sometimes they bring cake to you with the candle. Buddhist people, that's how they think. This is the way that we should celebrate birthday for Luang Pi Lucas. So they kind of secretly order the cake, write your name on it, and come to you and offer you, surprise you. Okay, Buddhist monk, we don't celebrate birthday. So again, when we get to that, be careful. Okay, so here, okay, just want to emphasize that the Buddha confirmed us that birth is suffering. And why birth is suffering? To keep it simple, because birth is the starting point of everything. Because of birth, then we get old, we get ill, and then we die. If we can stop the birth process, then we don't have to get old, ill, and die. Remember when we talk about what the Buddha discovered? Okay, maybe you forgot already. Let me bring you back again. Here, he searched for what? He searched for unaging and deathless and sorrowless. That's what he's looking for. He don't know what it was. When I was young, I know myself. Okay, I subject to aging, sickness, death, sorrow, and defilement. I also seek for something that have the same characteristic. No, smart people should think differently. So he teach himself. He said, you know what? I will seek for something unaging, something opposite, deathless, sorrowless, and supreme security from these bondage, and that is Nibbana. So when you study Dhamma, you have to kind of link them together. And now back to here. Birth is suffering. Aging is suffering. Illness is suffering. Death is suffering. So the Buddha seeks for something opposite. Okay, we may not like fully understand why, Luang Pi, birth is suffering. I don't feel that way. It's okay. This is something very subtle, very deep. Because we are ignorant. We don't feel, this is the danger or anything. That's routine suffering and then temporary suffering. And here, to me, the most important meaning that the Buddha wants us to understand about suffering is number 8, which is the clinging on what? On the 5 aggregate is suffering. Here. Bhikkhu, what is Dukkha? It should be said that 5 aggregate of attachment is Dukkha. He didn't mention pain, grief, those guys those also suffering. But why those things happen? Because of this, and that's why those things happen. That's why you sorrow, because you cling on what? Cling on whatever object that you feel attached to. So the monk, we should train ourselves to have less and less and less attachment in anything in the world. To be success in this spiritual life, anything means anything. Even your robes, your food, your shelter, you just use it. Don't complain. Just feel content. You want to liberate your mind, you shouldn't be attached to anything outside. We put robe on to protect the body. We eat to survive. We sleep, we just need something to protect the rain, the sun, and that's all. We don't demand for anything. Here is deep, okay? The 5 aggregate of attachment, it's very deep. Because we have been attached, we have been clinging on a lot of things in our life since the day we born. Even now we are monk, we still have clinging. Everyone has. Okay, now you understand the concept of Dukkha, okay? Dukkha is not just pain. And Dukkha, of course, headache, feeling sad, heartbroken, someone died, okay, that's also considered Dukkha. But that Dukkha comes from number 8, comes from the attachment of the 5 aggregate. That is why, to keep it short, what it means by the first noble truth, what is meant by Dukkha, is the attachment or clinging of the 5 aggregate. This is something the Buddha wants us to understand. This is something he emphasized. When the monk asked him, what is Dukkha? This is his answer. My answer to you is, Dukkha is clinging on the 5 aggregate. Can you name one thing of attachment that don't give you suffering? You may not find it. and because of clinging. And why we clinging? Think deeper. Who is the person who cling? Self. Because of self, then you cling. If no self, you don't cling. And now we don't even realize that we have self. We so much attached to our own self. Everything we do for the sake of our own happiness. We do for ourselves. Everything you do, you may say, "Oh, I do for my mom, for my wife." But look deeper. The type of dukkha, I found this in one short sutra. Okay. Usually, when you learn about dukkha, okay, you will only hear this paragraph. Okay. This one, which is the same as this one. Okay, aging, birth, sickness, and that kind of thing. But there is another short sutra that the Buddha explained the type of dukkha. Okay, there are 3 kinds of them. The first dukkha is ordinary suffering. We call dukkha. Pali called dukkha, just like headache, stomach ache. Okay, ordinary suffering, nothing fancy. But the second one is called viparinama dukkha. Viparinama dukkha is about changing present. Now it involves your feeling. Let's say you enjoy surfing internet, you watching YouTube. You're so happy, the movie is very fun. And all of a sudden, no electric. Internet's gone. So from happiness, laughing badly, now you feeling unhappy. This is viparinama dukkha. So in the morning, the man fell in love with the woman. Okay, he's so happy. Okay, he went out and buy the flower. He want to give the flower to the lady. Okay, so he called her and meet at the restaurant and kind of surprise, hide the flower underneath. And when the lady show up, he come with another man. From the excited mind, joyful mind, turned down to oppositely. It's viparinama dukkha. It's about the feeling. Okay, all of a sudden change happen all the time. But the most important dukkha is again the third one, sankhara dukkha, the conditioned phenomena. Sankhara means conditioned phenomena, which is point to the 5 aggregate. Okay, we come back to this keyword again, the 5 aggregate. Just to keep it short, to give you some idea. Okay, sankhara is condition. You will hear the word sankhara a lot when you study the teaching of the Buddha. Sankhara, English use the word condition, which I think is quite clear. Condition means it has to be more than one thing. Okay, one, whatever it is, it has more than one thing. Together, stay together condition. But each one of them, they are not the same. Okay, once they stay together, it become another thing. Okay, it may be 3. 3 come from 1. It may be 3. It become another thing. This means condition. Same thing. The 5 aggregate has 5 factors. Stay together. But each one of them, it has its own function. But when it stay together, it become another thing. That's the idea. So this is condition phenomena, and this is the dukkha that the Buddha wants us to understand, which is clinging on whatever condition, it always brings you suffering. And what else in the world or in the universe that not fall into condition? Can you name one thing that there's no condition? The trees, the stone, the mountain, the water, the animal. Everything is a condition phenomena. Human, we have blood, we have bone, we have flesh, we have liquid, we have solid. Not just we. The tree, the same thing. It had earth, water, wind, fire, element. The table, the microphone. There's nothing exists by itself. So one thing that has no condition is Nibbana. So I will end here. Okay, I leave you think more. Okay, because I'm taking you deeper to the teaching. That is why many things new to you today, which is good. Open up your eyes and ready for the deeper Dhamma. Okay, all right.